everyone. I'm Debbie Stokes of Three Women Voices. Welcome. As a child growing up, she fought her way through abuse and later homelessness and suicidal thoughts to a life of power, becoming CEO of her own business. Be encouraged and empowered as you listen to her story of survival and redemption. I introduce to you Precious Williams. Hi, Precious. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and I'm happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. You have no idea.
Yes, yes. So now I'm going to start off. I'm going to jump right in. Everyone has a story, and there are so many people that can learn and grow and be impacted by other people's stories when they tell them.
Right.
Jump right in and let you tell your story from the beginning.
All right. I apologize for that. So my name is Precious Williams. I'm from the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. And I've been a world-class master communicator since I was 16 years old. But the truth of the matter is, I grew up in the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. I grew up with a mom who didn't want me from the time I was born, and a father who was a drug addict and is still a drug addict to this day. So when I was growing up, I never saw positive Black role models. All I knew is that from the time I was born, I was hated. And so growing up in a household with a mother who told me every day she hated me, wished I was never born, it made me feel so bad about myself. But when I was 5 years old, I want to say that God spoke into my ear and said, "You're going to be famous and you're going to be big time." And you would think, at 5, how can you believe that? But I had nothing else to the contrary. And so, I came alive when I went to school. When I was at school, I was like this bright light, but I was always in trouble for talking because my mother, when I went home, would either yell at me or not speak to me. And my father was a no-show because he was a drug addict. And so I was always on point, always top student in my class. I was just always in trouble for talking. The same reason I get paid today is the reason why I was in trouble when I was young. And so finally, on November 18th, 1991, my mother tried to murder me. And obviously I'm here today and I'm 41 years old. So God saw to it that that wasn't the end of me. I was taken out of her custody and sent to go live with my father, who had us in very bad situations, homeless, hungry, all sorts of bad things. And when I was 15 years old, my grandparents stepped in and they begged my father to let me live with them. Now, I don't know about you. I was young. I was 15. I didn't want to live with old people. Best decision I never made. When I walked into that house, I went from not knowing where my next meal was coming from to always having meals. I went from not knowing when I would take my next shower to my toes being twinkled in the morning. "Hey, Queen Bee, your bath water's drawn." What? And I went from not knowing what family was like to always having to speak to my grandparents in the morning for breakfast. My grandmother drove me to school every morning. She came and picked me up at night. And she always used to make me do affirmations in the mirror. She said, "Tell me, Oprah's going to know your name. You have the gift of speech. You are so bomb. You're so great." And I'm like, looking at her like, I don't know what she sees. I'm a bum. I'm a slug in a ditch. But my grandmother, I'm named after her. And she was just like, "No, you have talent. You have a gift." And when I was 16 years old, the principal of my high school came to me and he said, "I want you to speak at this event." When you're 16, do you really care? Not really. I didn't realize that my first speaking engagement would be before the mayor of the city of St. Louis. And I killed it. My English teacher wrote my speech and I just gave it. And I didn't really think much of it. I just did my thing. I spoke so well that I spoke before the governor of Missouri in my next speaking engagement. So when people talk about, Barack Obama, I've had those moments. I just didn't realize it because I was so young. And so before I knew it, I was speaking all over the state of Missouri. I've had every rubber chicken dinner, rubber steak. I've had every meal you can possibly think of in the world as a teenager. And I spoke in nonprofits. I spoke on, school policy, stuff I didn't know anything about. But, hey, I could talk a good game. And, before I knew it, I was turning 17 and, you know, I knew I was going to college, and I picked Spelman College just because I saw it on television. And next thing I know, I'm on the campus. I have a full scholarship. First person in my family to the first person in my family to go to college. And I went on a full ride. When I got to Spelman, I used to tell people I'm the real Spelman woman, and they would just believe me. Like, okay. Now, mind you, I come from poverty. I didn't come from money. And so I'm on this campus with girls who have all of this money and wealth, and they embraced me because I had this thing called rock star confidence. Like, and Debbie, I know, like, when we meet each other in person, you're gonna feel it, because that's what people say when they meet me. You have energy. It's a different type of energy about you.
Okay.
And so I went to college. You know, I became an English major. I pledged. I graduated magna cum laude. People never believed I would get through school. They thought that the girls would run circles around me, until they realized I can run circles around anybody. I have the gift of speech. And I spoke as an ambassador for Spelman. And next thing I know, I got a full scholarship to Georgetown University Law Center. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is real. Like, I wasn't the bum that people made me out to be. I really made it. Well, I went to Georgetown, got kicked out in 2002, different story for a different day. And then I got a full scholarship to Rutgers School of Law in Newark, New Jersey. And I graduated, and I passed the bar on my first try, was an attorney for about 8 years, started to hate it. I've worked at some of the greatest companies, greatest law firms in the world, Sullivan and Cromwell. I clerked for a judge in the Southern District, which is very prestigious. I worked for the ACLU National Legal Department. I was a medical malpractice, products liability, toxic torts attorney. And, you know, I was unfulfilled. And I quit every job I ever had. Quitting. Just like I had no job to follow up on. I just couldn't do it. And it wasn't until I met this very famous actor and we started dating, and I was 327 pounds. That's how depressed I was. I almost ate myself to death. That I started this company called Curvy Girls Lingerie. And everybody kept saying, you're too fat, you're too black, you're too this, you're too that, you'll never get on television. And God told me I would. He said, you're gonna get on television. He said, once people hear your story, they're gonna know you're the real deal. And I'll say this. If you think that there's a man or a woman out of your league, let me tell you, the perfect pitch can get you anything. When I tell you I'm the founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious, if I can get a famous Hollywood actor to give me love at 327 pounds, a size 28, I can get anywhere. The first time I was on television, I had negative $400 in my bank account. Negative $400. And I asked for $500,000 on air. I didn't even know what an elevator pitch was when I pitched myself. And when I tell you the perfect pitch can get you anything, it got me on national television, MSNBC's Your Business with J.J. Ramberg, February 12th, 2012. They didn't know that my company wasn't real. They didn't know that I just talked a good game. They didn't know that the power of rockstar confidence can get you anywhere. The next thing I knew, I won 13. I was a 13-time national elevator pitch champion. I've beaten people from Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Columbia, cool tech companies, international companies. And all I was a fat black woman who got on stage and killed it. So when I tell you, my story is very unique, because very few women who are that size will ever have the confidence to stand on stage against the best in the world and go hard.
Okay.
When Shark Tank came after me, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I prayed for it, but I didn't believe that I would have a private audition. I didn't think, and when I showed up with a low-cut canary yellow peplum dress with a big old afro and killed it with my full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas, when I showed them that there are over 40 million women size 14 or larger in the United States just like me, and we all want pretty underwear. It's just too bad the most mainstream lingerie companies don't create any products for women my size. So that's why I created Curvy Girls Lingerie. We are the ultimate shopping experience for full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. When I tell you they heard that, they literally went insane. When I tell you Robert Hershey-Big, a shark from Shark Tank, said to me, you are a master at your craft. And I really want to be like, can we cut? Because I want people to know that as a black woman, I did that. And God gave me that talent and that gift. And when I look back over my life, and I think back to all the times my mother said things to me, or my father, or my family, or people told me I would never make it, I make it every day. I've lived in New York City since April 26, 2008. It is now what, February 6, 2020. I've never been raped, robbed, or beaten. Every time I walk out of this house, I feel like lights, camera, action when I walk out the door. And I'm not 327 pounds. I'm about 230 now, and I'm still as cute as I was. And I get booked and busy every day. In fact, I was telling you, I booked 7 speaking engagements over 2 days. When I step into the room, the reason why I do what I do is because I want women entrepreneurs, C-suite executives, speakers to know that there is nothing you cannot have. You can't let your weight get in the way, your race, your gender, your class, your sexual, none of that. And I know people will try to give me pushback, and I'm like, listen, my life is a testament to what you can have. I've beaten out people who there's no way I should on paper, but I did. And I don't have an Ivy League degree. But what I do have is a good God, and I have a talent that most people don't have. And so it doesn't matter. You can put me on stage. I can roll out of bed and go on stage and kill it. And I want to show women through the power of being a bad bitch with a power pitch how to do it. That's why I'm a #1 best-selling author first time out the gate. That's why I'm a 13-time champion. That's why some of my clients include Google, Microsoft, LinkedIn. I just booked a private audition, a private engagement with LinkedIn. Who does that? 3 years ago, I was homeless. 3. And you're probably wondering, how does one go from Shark Tank to being homeless? Well, when you have the wrong people around you, when you let some of your demons get to you, that can happen. 3 years later, I'm booked and busy. And the people who helped me before are not the people who help me now. They're not. Because when you fall on your face, people don't want to roll with you anymore. So you have to start again. And like the Phoenix, I keep rising. No matter how far down in the trenches, I will keep rising. And I always want to show that to women, that I don't care who doesn't like you. I don't care who wants to stand in your way. I've had attorneys say, you'll never work in this town again. I've had people say, you'll never speak in this town. Baby, I'm in New York City. Are you serious? They love a comeback story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Okay. So now you have done so many things,
Mm-hmm.
and you are where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go back to when you said your mother tried to murder you.
Yep.
How did you get past that point? Being a little girl and being dependent on your mother, your parents, and you said your father was a drug addict or something?
Yeah, he's a crack cocaine addict.
Okay. So how did you get past that your mother, the one that you hold dearest, most people hold their mother dearest, that she tried to murder you?
Honestly, I was angry. I was just angry. I was angry and violent and vengeful. And so I took it out on my classmates. I took it out on a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Even my dad's girlfriend, I took it out on her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I was just so bitter. And if it wasn't for my grandmother, my beautiful, loving, kind grandmother, when she came into my life, she totally changed she changed my world. I'm telling you, like, I don't know how a woman from her time period who, was used to treating kids a certain type of way, she just was so different with me. She just loved me.
Okay.
And she told me she would be there. She would never leave me. And sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, but my grandmother used to hold my hand. My grandmother used to hug me every day. My grandmother used to make me do those affirmations, and she would be right there with me.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother went to my high school, and when they told me they were going to put me in special education classes, she said she'll be there for 2 weeks, I bet you. She said Precious is extraordinary. She just needs a little bit of love. And that's all I needed. I remember the first time she got mad at me. I went to the room and started packing up my things, and she looked at me like, are you serious? And she sat me down. She said, we don't do this. She said, I can get mad at you all the time. It don't matter. She said, you my baby. She said, you just go to your room. You sit here for a little while, and then we back at it again. I'm like, oh, that's how it is. And she's like, yeah, we don't put kids out. Mm-hmm. And I looked at her, and I trusted her. I learned to trust her. And she never let me down. When people would talk about me saying, oh, you know, Precious was, you know, she ain't nobody, you know, her own parents didn't even want her. She's like, but I wanted her. That's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's my baby. I am her mother. And I was like, I have a mom? My grandmother loved me out of my anger and my bitterness. My grandmother made sure I went to counseling. My grandmother made sure to always be around. If I ever needed her, all I gotta do, she was like a phone call away. Okay. And when I wanted to be Miss Beaumont 1996, 1997, which is the queen of my high school, she said it's gonna happen. And I looked at her, I was like, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not pretty, you know, I'm not. And she was just like, what? My baby. And when I became Miss Beaumont 1996, 1997, she drove up to the school and she's like, I already knew.
Wow.
She made sure my dress was beautiful. I was a queen for an entire year. I had a parade in the city of St. Louis. My grandmother was just sitting there like, my baby. And I'm so thankful that she is the reason why I push as hard as I do, because I know that women are out there feeling dejected, alone, nobody cares. And I'm like, that's me. I want to be for other women what my grandmother was to me. Mm-hmm. And that's why I worked hard to write that book. And that's why when I have my clients, they feel that love from me. That's why they feel attention and affection. It's not, clients are not just clients to me. If you give me the time of day, your money, your resources, your talents, your skill sets, I will take you to the top, because that's what she did for me. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I got emotional.
That's all right. That's all right. So now your grandmother, did you have any brothers or sisters?
I did, but my mom, you know, she tried to murder me. My sisters grew up with her.
Oh.
So we are now building a relationship with each other now in our 40s, in our 30s and 40s. Okay. So I love my sisters, and every time I do something, they're just like not surprised. Okay. And it's a beautiful thing. My sister, Ray Mayberry, she is now an entrepreneur, and she's created a nonprofit called Caring Mothers, that helps women who had uncaring mothers grow up. The single mothers who had uncaring mothers growing up, what they do is they take the place of those uncaring mothers and provide. And so I wrote a pitch for them to get sponsorships and everything. And then my other sister, Lakeisha Coffey, she is a captain in the Army, and she's in American you know what I'm trying to say, the Emirates, that's what she is. She's far away. I just don't know how to say it. You know what I'm trying to say. That's what she is. Okay. She's adorable and she's wonderful. My sisters have children. I don't have any children. They're married. I'm not married. But we all live good lives. And that's because it didn't matter what my mom did to us. Mm-hmm. We still survived and we thrived afterwards. Okay. Okay. Now, I looked up your name, Precious. And precious means great value, high price, highly esteemed, cherished. How could a young girl be named such a prized name and be treated so badly? And then use what your name was to become something great. That's powerful. Yeah. It's God. Yes, yes. It's truly God. It's truly God. I think I read somewhere that God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. Mm-hmm. So I'm a strong soldier. Right. And there's only certain people that can hold on to this. There's only certain people who can move mountains like this. And I'm grateful. Like before I said, man, why God do me like that? He did me dirty. No, he did me right. Because I live to tell the tale. Mm-hmm. Some people couldn't live past this. Mm-hmm. So I'm incredibly thankful. So now when you were, like you say, God stepped in and kind of protected you. Right. Told you a better way. So in the midst of what you were going through, how did you lean on God through the stuff, through the mess? How did you find what you needed to be strong enough to lean on God and trust God? You know what? When I lost everything, I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
I really didn't have a choice. Like,
Mhm.
I realized that when I lost everything, when I became homeless and I lost my house, my jewelry, all of that stuff was materialistic.
Mhm.
God is eternal. And he wanted me to see that I didn't need any of that to be successful.
Mhm.
All I needed was to trust in him, and that I needed to get rid of everything that was holding me back.
Mhm.
And so when I learned to trust in him, and I remember sitting in this program, not a rehab, I really want to make sure that's clear. I've been clean and sober 3 years. It wasn't a rehab. It was a life transformation, a Christian life transformation program. But I remember when they were talking about getting a job and stuff like that. God said, you won't have a job. You're gonna be a talk show host. You're gonna transform the way women speak.
Mhm.
He said they can't see it yet because they don't know who you are.
Wow.
And when I walked out of that program, I had clients. When I walked out of that program, I had speaking engagements. I just didn't tell them that. I just was like, you know what? God told me that this is what I'm going to do. And that's exactly what I did.
Okay.
Now, when Microsoft and these other big companies came my way, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I wasn't stunned,
Mhm.
but he told me it was going to happen. And I thought I had a 5-year plan. He said, I'll do it in 3 months.
Mm.
I transcend time. And he did. He transcended time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, God is powerful.
All day, every day.
All day. Yes.
All day, every day.
Yes. That's why we have to learn to trust him. You know?
Yes, definitely. And I
Yes.
have no
And get out
problem
of the
talking
way.
about God. I have no
Yes.
problem because even when I give speaking engagements, I must give thanks because without him, I would not be here. And I think
Mhm.
that when people hear certain stories, they know the real from the fake.
Mhm. Mhm.
We can all look back and say, oh, she really was homeless. Oh my God, she
Yeah.
really was in a program. Oh my God, yeah. Trust and believe that. I really was.
Mhm. So now talk about your transformation from homelessness and from addiction or whatever it was that you.
Yeah, I was a severe alcohol. I was a
Okay.
severe
Okay.
alcoholic.
So how I know God is in the process, but how do you find um how do you go inside of yourself to make that transition?
Honestly, the pastor of my church, Trinity Baptist, he saw something in me. Him and his family saw something in me that no one else did.
Okay.
They saw my future. And when I was getting ready to walk out of my program, they were like, we want you to come live with us.
Oh.
Well, don't you worry about nothing. We got a big blue house, big blue house in Brooklyn, and we want you in our house. And I came over here and I moved in September 1st, 2018. And they said, we wrap you with love. You're our family now.
Oh.
And so, when I went to the pastor and I said, I want to start my business up again, he was like, you think you can make it? I said, yeah. He said, we're behind you 110% then. Who does that?
Yeah.
And they're white and I'm black. They're white and they're amazing.
Mhm.
They didn't let race or anything get in the way. They knew my story and they rocked with me.
Yeah.
And, to have a pastor who loves me and cares for me, and no matter what bumps and bruises I've ever had, he was just like, like a good father, I'll be here.
Mhm.
I see where you're going. I trust you. I know what you can do. So having that kind of support and guidance is what gave me the strength to say, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, there have been times where, I've had to go and say, well, rent may not be get paid. And he was like, you know what? You'll get it together. And I always did.
Okay.
So that's how that happened. And, not drinking, honestly, I was trying to cope with just feeling less than, and I don't feel less than anymore. So I don't need to
All
drink.
right.
So can I
Okay.
be around people who drink? Of course. I've been to happy hours with people. I nurse my water or my Sprite. Man, I don't care. I don't care about none of that. I don't need alcohol. I'm so Gucci right now. I'm so good.
Gucci. All
I'm
right.
so Gucci.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, what would you say to a woman who feels stuck in a hole and they don't know which way to turn? They don't have supporters. What would you say to her about trying to climb out of that hole to find out who she is?
I would tell her that it's time to trust in God. Get your Bible out. Start reading David and Goliath. Start reading the Psalms. Start getting real acclimated with who he is and trusting his word. I would say get into a good Bible-based church and start reaching out to people who you know love you and asking for help.
Okay.
Also, it's very important to put yourself out there, to ask for what you want. Start asking. If you hear no, keep going. I've had people who literally have turned me down for speaking engagements this year come back and say, okay, so how much does it cost to have you now? Oh, you didn't want, oh, you could have had me for free before. Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
All right,
it's a beautiful thing. I tell people all the time, back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when you keep pushing yourself out there, when you keep, and I know it's scary to push yourself out there because you're opening yourself up to humiliation, ridicule, and stuff like that. Tell people your story. I was so afraid for people to know I was homeless. I was so afraid. And then when I started telling people, like, oh man, I was too, man. I was living out of my core. And now look at me. I'm like, oh my God, people are struggling in so many different ways. And until you are honest, they can't be honest.
Yeah.
They can't be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I give women permission. Be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with self-esteem. Even when I was 327 and I had rock star confidence, I had a woman who just reached out to me, a dear and trusted woman. She said, Precious, this isn't my body. I can't speak in this body. And I said, girl, I had to speak at 327. That was the body I was in for that moment. So I had to make the most of it. And had I not spoken at that moment, there would be no curvy girls, no law firm, no perfect pitches. Mm. So you do what you have to do in this moment to get to where you have to go. And you know what? That 327 body that's now about 230, I respect it then and I respect the gangster of it now.
All right. All right. So now, how does a person who is the pitch master teach people how to pitch?
So the one thing about me, the one thing is very important is that I get to know you on an individual level. So I don't come to every client the same. I really want to know you. So in our first session, there's really a deep dive into you, your company, your brand, your book, your product, or your service. Mm-hmm. And then really getting to understand what are your goals. And then I'll push you because if I think your goals are small, I'm like, you're not thinking big enough. And I'm going to keep pushing you. And then I start crafting the pitch for you because it's not about you writing the pitch. I'm just going to give you homework to get me to know you better. After that, I'm crafting your pitch. We're going to rehearse it together and I'm going to put you out there. But the pitch is based on you. It's not based on what I think about you. It's based on you and putting the best representation of you out there. Mm-hmm. So when I did Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, sometimes when I pitch, I'll say, ladies, raise your hands if you want to be a bad bitch with a power pitch. When I tell you women are so shocked by me, like, and they'll start raising their hand, men will start raising their hand. And the thing I teach you is pattern interrupt. If I came out and said, hi, I'm Precious Williams, name of my company is Perfect Pitches by Precious, you'd be like, she sounds boring like everybody else. But if I throw that question at you, you're like, oh, snap. She even cursed. Oh, snap, but she was comfortable. Oh, snap. I interrupt patterns because I want people to pay you attention.
Okay.
So there's a difference in me. I embrace difference. I'm not here for you to be cookie cutter.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's an awesome title too.
Mm-hmm. Do you know how many people fought me on that? I had a big time motivational speaker, one of the top 5 in the nation. I should say the world. He called me. He said, I need you to change the title of this book. I was like, nope. 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 Nope.
And you stuck with it.
I did.
And
what was I supposed to do?
Yes. Yes.
I would love to tell you that I wasn't frightened in any way, but the truth of the matter is I was more frightened to be like everybody else than to stand out.
Okay.
And so just because he said, oh, I can sell this to the government, I can get this and that. Listen, I hear what you're saying. This isn't a government book. And even if it was, the government probably would pay me $2 for my book. Nah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
So I think at the end of the day, what's most important is that if you get nothing more from this conversation, is that we need to truly embrace difference.
Mm-hmm.
We need to truly embrace difference and understand that that if you're different, you will stand out. And because you're going to stand out, you are going to win.
Okay. Okay.
Bad bitches and power pitches could have been the art of the killer pitch, and you would have been just like,
Yeah, yeah.
You'd have been like, I know. I know. You heard? I am who I am. I stand out like a sore thumb. Trust me, people say it all the time. You stand out like such a sore thumb. You really are who you are. I can wear blue hair today, blonde tomorrow. I embrace who I am.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell it in your glow. You have such a powerful glow and smile.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so how do you come from your background?
Mm-hmm.
You're among people who would be considered like of money, wealth, prestige.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find your way from where you came from to the confidence to be able to fit in and then stand out?
You know, part of it is I just never gave up.
Okay.
I think part of it is I never gave up. And yes, do I deal with people who, don't look like me? It's okay, because I realize that the older I get, the better it is to be yourself, because they respect you so much more.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't come from money, but I don't walk around like, I'm straight ghetto. Nah. Mm-mm. I am who I am, and they respect the gangster precious.
Okay. Did you ever doubt whether you
Yes. Okay. Yes. Let's be clear. Yes, I did.
Okay.
I doubted whether people would feel me. I doubted whether people would, rock with me. At the end of the day, I just had to go with, I'd rather be the best me than a carbon copy of someone else. And the more I started being myself, the more people were comfortable to be themselves around me, whether they were rich or poor or in between.
Okay. As you found yourself in that world, how did you deal with the competition?
Oh, I'm like Nicki Minaj. I got bad vision. I don't see competition.
Okay.
I don't see competition.
Okay.
I don't see competition.
Okay.
Like who else is a killer pitch master? Nobody but Precious Williams. Are there people who won pitch competitions? Heck yeah. But are they on my level? Hell no.
All right. Okay.
Like I was at a Black History Month celebration. It was me and these 3 other illustrious Black women on a panel. And I remember I was looking at the audience and I saw my white friends, my Latinx friends, my Asian friends, my Black friends. And I teared up because I said, I remember when it was so quiet and my phone never rang. I remember when I had nobody to call. I remember that. And I said, I'm looking out at this audience. I know my peeps. They show up for me. And it's not quiet anymore. And I'm thankful and I'm grateful because I have people who rock with me. No matter what, whether I got money or not, they rocks with me. So if you're having a moment what's quiet, it won't always be like that. Trust me, it won't. So keep going.
Yeah.
And fortune favors the bold. It really does. Fortune favors the bold. If you want to be meek and mild, that's cute. But I'm in your face. And it's Debbie, have you seen my pictures? Have you seen how different I look in every picture?
Yeah, yes.
You're like, that's that same chick? Yes,
that's what I said too.
I'm like, that's her?
Yeah.
Oh, man, even the makeup changed. Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. That's that chick. Blue hair and all, pink hair, red hair. All right, that's her. That's really her thing. I had a woman say to me, "Well, I really like your hair black." I said, "That's great." She said, "Well, I think you should keep it that way." I said, "Well, that's great that you think that." I said, "But I embrace difference, and so I'm going to look different every time you see me." She said, "Well, how does that help people want to work with you? I said, you're talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't walk up to you.
Okay.
I said, you just bought my book. There's something about me that's different. I said, I don't play by the rules that you want. I play by my rules. And I realize that people can want me a whole bunch of different ways. But the reason why you sought me out is because I'm different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as long as you stand firm in who you are, you'll be amazed at how far you get.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
That's why that picture you see up there, me with my black hair, I'm looking all G'd up. Girl, don't let me come with red and blonde. What?
Blonde?
Yes. Listen, the blonde ambition be like, yo, y'all ain't ready for blonde ambition.
All right.
Y'all not ready, because blonde ambition will have you feeling some type of way about yourself.
All right. So now when you think about your life and think about the things you've been through, the experiences you've had, have you ever had anybody to, I guess I would say, tell you that you're not supposed to be here?
Yeah.
Okay. And
it might not be to my face, but it'll be in how they approach me.
Okay.
And you know, Precious, I don't listen. I don't play no games. Okay. Listen, I was invited. And you know what? I was on a phone call with my book coach yesterday. And I said, the honest to God truth is, you know why I get walked into certain places? It's because of people who don't look like me take me there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've had my white girlfriends, white guy friends take me places that aren't advertised.
Okay.
Some of my Latinx, some of my Asian, I've really been in places that people have been shocked to see a little black face in there. And I'm like, no, I belong.
Okay.
Even if by money standards, because I haven't cracked $1 million, yet, but I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, okay, Precious is on the level though, because she's here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't walk off the street. I walked out of homelessness right into Microsoft. You cannot put a price on that.
Yeah, that's right.
That tells you talent. My talent is, you know what? This guy said my talent is bipolar. It's extreme.
Okay. So now tell us about, you said you went on Shark Tank.
Yep.
Tell us about, and you said you had the business, lingerie business for.
Yep. Curvy Girls Lingerie.
Yes. So is that still thriving?
No. I almost took my life on January 22nd, 2017, my 38th birthday. And I was hospitalized for a while. So you can't run a business. At the same time, I was dealing with my business partner, and we were coming to the end of that relationship. So as far as I'm concerned, I have nothing to do with Curvy Girls, and Curvy Girls is defunct right now.
Okay.
But Perfect Pitches survived that.
Okay. So how does a person who's doing so well on the outside decides that I want to kill myself? How do you go there?
Well, I had the wrong people around me.
Okay.
I was drinking heavily because the love of the actor died.
Mm-hmm.
And until you've had the love of your life die, I don't think most people can understand what grief is really like. Okay. I had to drink to go to sleep, drink to stay awake, drink, like it was horrible. Okay. And I just made a lot of poor financial decisions that brought me to the point where I don't want to live anymore. So that's what happened. Okay. Obviously, my cousin saved my life with only 2 minutes to spare, and that's why I'm here today. Haven't had a drink since. Okay. I don't hang around. I have a great support network. Great. Like when you were talking on the phone, I'm telling you, my phone blows up. Like, listen, I ain't heard from you this morning. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? You know your girl do podcasts. You know your girl be on her thug fizzle. Yeah, but I just want to make sure everything all right.
Yeah.
I didn't have that before, and I have real relationships now. Mm-hmm. Not surface, not Klingons. I don't have that anymore.
That's important. Who's in your space?
Who's in my space? And I have people who challenge me, not are complacent.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of being invisible.
Okay.
I'm afraid of dying with my talent still in me. I want to give it to the world.
Okay.
I want to die with nothing left.
Okay.
There's nothing I wanted to do. I did it all.
Okay. What do you want your legacy to be? Like when you tell your story to women or to people, what do you want your legacy to or impact to be to them or for them?
I want my legacy to be that I was a die-hard supporter of women, young girls, young children, and I taught them how to fly beyond their wildest dreams.
Mm.
I taught them how to write their own paycheck. I taught them how to speak truth to power and how to walk in their purpose no matter what happens. I want our girls to go to college fully funded, no worried about whether you get a job or not. No. You're going to become an entrepreneur, write your own paycheck. You're going to write books. You're going to do these sort of things. You know what I want? When I was growing up, I used to see people who didn't look like me and they had the ability to go find themselves.
Okay.
But as a young Black girl, I didn't know how to go find myself because I always had to do something.
Okay.
I want them to, like when I think Malia Obama had a gap year, that was beautiful to me because how many little Black girls have a gap year?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I want them to be them and have the same opportunities, if not more.
Okay. So now what would you say to women who don't know what they want?
Girl, I used to be like my girl Kiana, girl, or my girl Kimberly, girl. That's okay. That's okay. You know what? I thought I wanted to be an attorney. I did that and moved on. Like, it's okay. I would say do anything that you want to do. I don't want you listen, life is long and short. Life is long and short. If you want to have 5 different careers, you go ahead and do that. You want to go to school, you want to turn around and be a sous chef, you want to girl, life is long and short. Do it all.
Okay.
You know? Let them bury a cute corpse.
Yeah. So what would you say to women who say that, yes, I had a past, but every time I try to go forward, people still remember me about my past. They won't let it go. How would you say, what's their way around that?
You know what? That's such a real question because some people have tried to throw my past up in my face, and I'm like, listen, I'm like Martin Lawrence, run tell it. But let me tell it first, because you know what? I'm the phoenix. I'm gonna rise higher and better than you ever will. If I spent my time worried about what somebody was gonna say, I would never move forward. I'm gonna keep doing me. Not everybody needs to know. Real G's can move in silence. You just keep doing what you do. And when people want to throw up your past, you have a past too. I just don't know about it. What's my past? Drunk, alcoholic, homeless, bum, kicked out of law school, bum, lost everything, bum. Yeah, okay. All of that is true. And at the same time, that's not who I am today.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm not who I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bigger, better, stronger, and faster. And I'm not going to let you hold me to that. The Bible is full of people who rose above their circumstances. And that's all I have to keep reminding myself. Those are real people who rose above being prostitution, abuse. And listen, if they can do it and God said that they were worthy, I can do it too.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not going to let you do that to me.
And you use your past for your stepping stool.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yes. What? Jigga who?
Yes. Don't throw it in their face.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, okay.
I was this, but look at me now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you want to talk about me being an alcoholic? Baby, I ain't been that since, I ain't been that. Well, you did 12 steps. I don't care what I did. I'm not who I used to be.
That's right.
And just because you want me to pretend that I'm still that person, I'm not. Now, you may still be who you used to be, but I'm not.
Yes. So now, what words of empowerment would you give to women, or advice would you give to women just about in dealing with life, love, happiness, growth, whatever it is you want to talk about.
First, I would say you're so worthy. And you remember that L'Oreal commercial? Because I'm worth it. You really are. You're worth all the diamonds in the world. You're worth everything. Treat yourself like it. And if somebody's not treating you right, keep it pushing. It's funny how success changes how people see you. So shoot for being successful on your terms, not anybody else's. I don't aspire to be Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols, Les Brown. I aspire to be the greatest Precious Williams you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And staying true to yourself. What makes you happy? I'm still a shrimp and cheesecake girl. But I can go to the finest of restaurants and order off the menu. I have an international palate, but sometimes what I really want is Thai food. Sometimes what I really want is to kick it with my girls and drink some Sprite and have some popcorn with some nutritional yeast on top of it. Girl, stop. Girl, stop. Girl, stop. Girl, stop. No, but, and also laugh every day. Laugh. Enjoy yourself. Talk to your girls. Encourage them. Encourage yourself. And know that the best is truly yet to come. That's why I'm a bad bitch with a power pitch. That's why I wrote the book, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches. That's why my upcoming event, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, the live 3-day experience is coming up in September, where women are going to learn for 2 days pitching, branding, marketing, sales, and public speaking. And on the third day, they're going to pitch live to local, regional, and national media and investors. Mm-hmm. So unlike other conferences where you just learn to be lectured to, no, you're going to do it live. I want women to come out with investments and out with actual exposure.
Okay.
Create a movement and keep it pushing.
Okay. Now, what have you learned? This is going to be the last question. What have you learned about Precious Williams?
I've learned that I'm a loving, kind, considerate, focused, ambitious, thugalicious, cute woman who will not be tamed, who will not back down, who will always go hard in the paint. I'm like Jordan, 96, 97.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like shooting Kobe. Hashtag Kobe.
Yeah.
The best in the world at what I do, and I will stand on that no matter what.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Precious.
No, thank you. I hope that this really put a smile on you. I'm looking at your smile now. You're like, all right, okay. I don't know if I was ready for Precious, but all right, she did that.
She got me pumped.
Yes, I play no games in these streets.
Yes, that's the best way to be.
Yes.
Yes.
I thank you so much for giving me this time and this opportunity, and I look forward to working with you again.
Yes, and thank you for standing in your truth and being able to tell it authentically.
Thank you.
Yes. and so if anybody wanted to reach out to you, how could they reach you?
Okay, so my website is www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com, and pitches is Pitches, perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. On LinkedIn, I am Precious Williams, KiLLER Pitchmaster. On Instagram, I am at Perfect Pitches P. On Facebook, I am at Perfect Pitch P. And on Twitter, I am at Perfect Pitch P. And you can always reach me. You hit me up on social media, I hit you right back.
All right. And I want to thank you for watching. You can reach Three Women Voices at threewomenvoices@gmail.com. We're on Instagram at 3_women voices. We're at Facebook at #3 Women Voices. And our website is threewomenvoices.com. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Precious.
Thank you, darling.